Hey guys, welcome back to another video, or welcome if you are new. If you are new, my name is Leanne and I'm so glad you're here. I hope that you consider subscribing before you leave. I have a really fun, easy Christmas budget-friendly DIY video to share with you today. That was a mouthful, and frankly, I'm having a little trouble getting out a coherent sentence. I normally don't do my intros and outros a bunch of times, but that's not the case today. I've had this like sinus cold thing going on all week, and I think it's just fogged my brain. So I'm not going to be sharing those bloopers with you, but I am going to try to get through this intro without doing it one more time. So budget-friendly, easy DIYs to share with you today, and we're going to be kind of doing a Christmas tree theme for today's video. So without further ado, and before I get tongue-tied again, let's get into the DIYs. All right, so this first one is not really hardly a DIY, but I picked up this little glitter tree from Dollar Tree, and it lights up and it changes color, which isn't fully my style, but I am going for a little bit more whimsical in my kitchen area. I have been over the years, so I decided to pick it up for that, and I just cut the tag off. Well, the tag was gone, the plastic thing on the tag, and I'm just going to paint the base. I am using Waverly chalk paint in the color Crimson, which is also by the company Plaid, along with trying out these new paintbrushes that Plaid sent me, and I absolutely loved them. They've sent me quite a few, but this is the first time I'm trying this pack here, and I really liked them. So all I'm doing is painting the base, because it was kind of just like an off-white color that didn't really match the tree. And so I just thought, well, let me try doing that. So I let it dry in between. I did like 2 or 3 coats and just let it dry thoroughly in between, and yeah, that is it. So does this count as a DIY? I don't know, but I think it's really cute, and I love the pop of the red, and it's going to look really cute on my tier tray. So for this next one, I have these mini tree cones from Hobby Lobby. They were 6 in a pack. They were $4.99, but they were 50% off. So for $2.50, we're going to just do 2 of them today. And I took out Christmas Green, which is an apple barrel color, and I am painting both of these with that. Now, in all honesty, when I first started this DIY, I wasn't totally sure. I had an idea, but I wasn't sure where I was going to land with it. So if I were to do these exact ones over again, I would paint one of these trees white and one of them green. But the whole point is so that if what we're putting on them shows through, I didn't want the cardboard showing through. So you can change that up based on what you end up deciding to do. So for the first one, I have these white little foam pieces and these glitter pieces. They are both from Dollar Tree. I think the white ones are called snow, like faux snow, and the red ones are called vase filler. I have already had them in my crafting stash for a while, and I'm trying to work through my stash. So that's just what I had on hand, but I know that these things are still available at the Dollar Tree, and these red glitter pieces, I believe they have in multiple colors. Anyway, this is the tree that I would have painted white if I had thought it through, but I'm just putting hot glue on and putting on these little white balls. So this is a little bit tedious, so I'm going to speed it up, but I was watching Hallmark Christmas movies while I did it, so I didn't really care how long it took me. And this is sped up quite a bit. After a while, I decided a better route to take was to not mix the red ones in along the way and just do the white and then go back later and fill in any gaps with the red. So I did switch to doing it that way. Before I got any further into this video, I just wanted to mention that this is part of the Christmas DIY challenge, which is hosted by HEIDI SONBOUL DIY, and the idea was to do some Christmas themed crafts, which I am all about right now, so this was really fun to participate in. Don't forget to check out Heidi's channel. I will have it linked down below, along with a playlist where you can get lots of Christmas DIY inspiration. So once I had the majority of this tree covered, I went ahead and filled in with some little red beads, or I think like I said, I think it's called vase filler. And I also just made sure that as I was doing the ones around the bottom, that it wasn't going to make like the bottom of it rocky, that it would still lay smooth on the table. But I just kind of kept going until I had the look I wanted. I did not cover every little gap, so once again, paint the cone white and it doesn't matter as much. But either way, I still like it. I think it's cute and whimsical, and I definitely love traditional colors for Christmas. And like I said, these will probably be used in my kitchen where I go a little bit more fun and whimsy anyway. So this next one I'm going to cover in bells. So I have these bells. These I believe were also from the Dollar Tree. I know that they have them. They have them in various sizes and they have them every year. So I did not buy any this year because I had plenty already in my stash. But we're going to just do the same thing where I'm going to hot glue the bells all the way around, and I'm just going to kind of keep going, alternating colors as best I can. And you can see here, again, I'm skipping through a lot of this because we don't need to prolong this and have you see all of it. But when I get to the bottom, I'm just making sure that the bells aren't going to like make this rocky when I set it down on a table. And then I did go in with those little red vase filler balls again and filled in any gaps, and that worked out really perfectly because they were very small. I would recommend using a low temp glue gun because my fingers did come in contact with the glue on multiple occasions. And this is how they came out. I think they're super pretty and very fun and festive. All right, so we're going to make some cone trees. I bought this 4-pack of poster board from the Dollar Tree, but you could also just buy a larger piece and cut it yourself. And I'm not going to say that you should follow my directions on making the cone. There's probably people who are better at it than I am. I'm sure of it, that there are people better at it than me. But I tried this method, tied my pencil to a piece of string and held it at the point and drew a line and cut it out and then began rolling it up. I mean, I had to trim it again. It's not necessarily the greatest thing, but I made it work. So, however you want to do it, we're just trying to make some paper cones. We're going to make ourselves some more trees. So, I tried taping it together. The key is to get the point up at the top, and then I would go down from there. The tape didn't work super great, so I started putting on some hot glue and just kind of attaching that together. And then once I had that all into the cone shape that I wanted, I trimmed the bottom best I could so that it was pretty flat. And then, that's the hard part. And it's not necessarily hard for everybody, but it kind of was for me. I had this yarn in my stash forever, but Dollar Tree does sell it. You can also buy it at Walmart or any craft store. It's nothing fancy. And I hot glued at the top. Now, I'm going to show you two of them. I did them two different ways, and I like the second one better. What I did here basically was put a line, and this is like way sped up, but I put a line of hot glue along the seam just for like added security there, and then just kind of wrapped it around, and I figured, oh, it's just holding in one spot, and that's enough. And it was and it wasn't. By the end, it didn't look as great, and of course towards the bottom I had to hot glue all the way around, so I will add that in. But this seemed pretty quick, so what I would do is start by doing this and then wait till we get to the next one and I'll show you what I would do after I do this. But you can kind of see there it's like, I don't know, it was drooping and bunching. It just wasn't great. But either way, you're going to wrap your cone with yarn. I want to do another one with twine. I did not do that in this video. I really would like that look as well. And then I have this beaded garland from our beaded berry garland, or not beaded, berry garland. Told you guys, I've got like a sinus cold and I'm sorry, I'm not my best. Berry garland from the Dollar Tree. They have it in multiple colors and I'm using the red one and wrapping that around, just hot gluing it at the top and hot gluing it at the bottom. And overall, this came out fine. Like I said, it's my first one and it wasn't as good as my second one. And I'll show you them both at the end. So I took the scraps from that first one and just made a smaller one, and we're just going to do the same thing, make it into a cone, glue it together, and trim the bottom. So now this time I'm using a red yarn and I'm hot gluing at the top. You have to do a lot of hot glue kind of at the beginning and the end. But what I decided to do here, you'll see it in just a second, is I just kind of put squiggles of hot glue in like kind of all the way around and then wrapped it pretty quickly here. And I wanted more glue because, like I said, the last time there was definitely not enough glue. Don't do too much hot glue because, of course, you don't want it to cool and harden before you wrap it. And I went pretty quickly here. I decided it was okay if there were gaps because we're going to go back over the whole thing. So I like this method much better than my first one. So put quite a bit of glue all the way around, wrap it pretty quickly. Keep it somewhat tight together, but you don't have to overdo it. And then once we got to the bottom, for some reason I cut off the yarn, so now I'm going back in. I guess I probably didn't need to do that. Could have just continued using the piece. But you can see there's still some gaps. So first I went around the bottom to just kind of clean that up, and then I just kind of went hog wild. I went in different directions, and of course I was going back over any of the white spots to fill those in. And sorry, I kept going out of frame. I was so focused on this tree that I wasn't always focused as to whether or not I was staying in the frame. But I just went in all different directions, up and down, and then it's like purposefully not even, if that makes sense. So I really liked how this one came out. Once again, finishing up around the bottom a little bit. Then we're going to cut that off and just kind of tuck it underneath. And then this one, I'm going around with the gold berry garland. I actually meant to do the white because I do have it in white, so that they were opposite, but I forgot. I do want to make one more each of these. I want 2 white and 2 red, so I might change that out. But just once again, wrapped it around and hot glued it at the top and the bottom. And this is how they came out. I think they're super, super cute, and they'd be really nice in like a little bit of a set to do kind of like, I don't know, a mini forest, or I don't know what you'd call it, but I really like how the one on the left, the red one, I feel like that came out a lot better with the way that the yarn was wrapped, and so that's what I would recommend personally. So for this next one, again, kind of a DIY, kind of not. We got these 2-pack of bottle brush trees from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to do some white ones and some green ones, and then just various vase filler and things that I had on hand. I'm going back to the red beads or red balls, and the bells is all I ended up using. But just use what you have on hand and look through the craft supplies. You know, at the store, if you don't have stuff on hand, you could do a variety. And all I'm doing is hot gluing. In the white ones, I wanted the contrast of the red balls, and I'm just hot gluing them at various places. And I do that in both the big one and the small one, just so I had a little bit of a set. But those are just 2 for $1, and then I'm just using things I already had on hand. So very inexpensive, and I love decorating with trees because you can just sprinkle them throughout your decor. And if you choose to go more neutral, you can really use them up for all of winter, or I don't really care. Leave the Christmassy ones up all winter long. To each their own. Doesn't matter to me. And then the green ones, I decided to go in with the bells, and I just thought that this was really cute and very simple and just a fun way to kind of spruce up these little tiny bottle brush trees. And Dollar Tree did have big ones this year, and I actually found some, but I don't know if I'm going to DIY them. I might just leave them as is. I haven't decided yet. And here they are. I thought they came out super cute and fun and whimsical, so just an idea for you to kind of switch things up a little bit. For this next one, I have this foam cone floral, I think it's a floral foam, from the Dollar Tree, but you can pick them up at pretty much any craft store. And I wasn't sure which paint I was using. I'm trying to finish out some paints. I ended up just going with the chalk paint from Waverly, just using up the last of this jar. And I'm going to cover this with white paint. Now we're going to go on a journey in this one because I almost left it out because I was not happy with it, but then I came back to it the next day and was able to redeem it, and I really actually think it's cute. Although if you hate glitter, you're going to hate this. I don't mind the appearance of glitter, I mind the mess of glitter. But we made it work. So I'm going to cover this with white paint, and we're going to then pour on some glitter. This is just some red glitter that I had on hand. I did not buy any specifically for this. And I just was using the paint kind of as a glue because I did want to paint the styrofoam, because if any of it was, I don't know, being seen, it looks like styrofoam. Hindsight, I wouldn't do it that way. Also, I would say if you don't like glitter, there is this, like, I think it's called like tube glitter or something from Aldi, and it's like bigger, and that might be less annoying to work with. This is like really fine glitter. So I'm just pouring it all over the place, and then I didn't feel like it had a super great coverage. So the next day, I think this was the next day, I don't know, the last few days have been somewhat of a blur in my life, but I went back over it once it was dried and decided to go back in with some Mod Podge and put on some more glitter, and that definitely worked a lot better. So I'm thinking, I don't know if I should have done Mod Podge from the beginning or if it just needed 2 layers of the glitter. Either way, if you want to attempt this, that would be my recommendation. Now, once this is fully dry, I went over it with some Mod Podge once again to just seal in the glitter, and this does really help a lot. I did put it on very thick, so it took a little while to dry, but that does keep the glitter from making a mess afterwards. So, you know, if you can handle the mess of the glitter for the making of it, you don't necessarily have to deal with the glitter for, you know, forever after if you do this step. So now moving on to some embellishments for this tree. I have this little wood piece, which is from the Dollar Tree, along with these wood pieces, these wood shapes. They're little wooden Christmas trees from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint both of those with this metallic gold paint, and that is going to be our little accents for the top and the bottom of this tree. So just giving them each one coat of gold paint. And you can see there's still some white, but that's just because the Mod Podge hadn't fully dried at this point, but it was dried to the touch. It was just still a little tacky. So I'm going to go ahead and hot glue the little trunk to the bottom of our tree. I'm going to go back and paint the bottom of that tree red, just so that it blends in a little bit more. I didn't think of it until I was doing this part here. And then I attached the little golden piece on top, and this is how the tree came out. I love the sparkle. So it was a little bit of work, but was it worth it? Yeah, I think so. I think it's pretty cute. So here they all are, my little forest of trees. I hope you enjoyed all of these different little ideas to add some Christmas trees to your home decor. I hope that you enjoyed these DIYs today. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up because it helps me out so much. And once again, if you are new, please consider subscribing before you leave. And also, thanks again to Heidi Sonboul for hosting this challenge. Don't forget to check out her channel along with the playlist. They're going to be down in the description box below. And I'm going to have some more of my Christmas DIYs here linked for you if you want to go check those out. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.